Imagine opening your front door and stepping into traffic, a pig, a cart, two apprentices, and a gutter carrying something you absolutely do not want identified. Then a bell rings. A neighbor shouts. Above you, a window opens, and suddenly your biggest problem is not the cart. That is the popular image of a medieval city, one enormous outdoor toilet. The surprising part is that people at the time hated filth too. They made rules, hired cleaners, built drains, and took neighbors to court over terrible smells. So why could a prosperous city still attack all 5 of your senses before breakfast? First, a warning label. Medieval city covers roughly 1,000 years and a whole continent. London was not Venice. 14th century Ghent was not 10th century Dublin. Conditions changed by street, season, wealth, and local geography. Still, many European towns shared one brutal problem. Lots of people, animals, and dirty trade squeezed together without modern sewers or garbage trucks. Walk through a busy English or Low Countries town in the later Middle Ages. The street may be paved near the market and churn mud elsewhere. Houses lean over narrow lanes. Workshops open straight onto the road. Smoke from wood and coal hangs between roofs. Rain mixes soil with dung from horses, cattle, dogs, and pigs. Dry weather replaces mud with dust, flies, and odors that have nowhere to go. The smell came from more than toilets. Butchers produced blood, bones, guts, and spoiled scraps. Fish sellers created their own perfume. Brewers left wet organic waste. Tanners soaked hides in foul-smelling mixtures, while dyers and metal workers polluted nearby water. Medieval manufacturing happened where people lived. Your charming timber house might share a wall with an industry that would now require warning signs. And then there was human waste. Most homes had no flushing toilet. People used chamber pots, privies, shared latrines, or cesspits, lined holes that stored waste underground. The famous story that everyone constantly threw full chamber pots from windows is an exaggeration. It happened, and laws complained about dumping, but a container emptied into a cesspit or designated channel was far more sensible than declaring war on pedestrians. Cesspits solved one problem by creating another. They filled up. If badly built, they leaked toward wells or a neighbor's cellar. Cleaning them was dangerous, revolting, and essential. In England, workers later known as gong farmers emptied pits, often at night, when fewer people had to smell the operation, and hauled the contents beyond town. Some waste could become fertilizer. Nothing says circular economy like a cart you desperately avoid making eye contact with. Archaeologists love these pits for exactly the reason residents did not. Waterlogged waste can preserve seeds, insect remains, pottery, leather, and parasite eggs. A medieval cesspit is a disgusting time capsule. Research in places such as Leiden and Cambridge has found evidence of intestinal parasites, including roundworm and whipworm. People did not need germ theory to know that foul surroundings could be dangerous, but they could not see the microscopic route from contaminated waste to food and water. Clean water therefore mattered enormously. Towns drew from wells, springs, rivers, cisterns, and sometimes pipe conduits. But the same river might serve laundresses upstream, brewers nearby, and waste disposal farther down. In theory, dirty work belonged downstream or outside crowded centers. In practice, geography, money, and human laziness had opinions. Rain could flush gutters, but it could also overflow pits and spread muck. Summer heat intensified smells. Winter trapped people and animals indoors. Wealth gave you options: a private privy, servants to remove waste, a better courtyard, access to cleaner water, and political influence to push offensive trades towards somebody else's neighborhood. Poor households shared facilities, crowded into smaller rooms, and lived closer to workshops and dumps. Yet medieval people were not cheerfully bathing in sludge. Personal washing, laundry, bathhouses, swept interiors, herbs, and clean linen all existed with enormous variation. Clean linen in particular carried status. The real issue was scale. Keeping your body or room clean is one challenge. Coordinating thousands of residents, businesses, animals, landlords, and water users as city government on nightmare difficulty. And governments tried. English towns issued rules against blocking drains, dumping refuse, roaming pigs, contaminated food, and noxious trades in sensitive places. After the Black Death, concern about foul air and communal health grew more urgent. Their medical explanation centered on miasma, corrupted air, rather than microbes. Wrong mechanism, sometimes useful response. Remove rotting waste, protect water, move slaughter away from crowds. Ginn offers the most wonderfully medieval job title in this story, the King of the Ribbalds. In the 14th and 15th centuries, this official and his assistants enforced rules involving waste, dangerous animals, markets, and public order. Other towns hired cleaners or sanitation supervisors. Fines could punish residents who left pigs wandering or dumped filth where it did not belong. But a rule written on parchment is not a sewer. Authorities had limited budgets and manpower. Residents resisted fees. Cleaners focused on important markets and main routes. Waste removed from one lane might simply reappear at the edge of town. Rapid growth overwhelmed old wells, ditches, and pits. And every neighborhood preferred the tannery, slaughterhouse, and dump to be somewhere else. Over centuries, cities added more paving, drains, conduits, collection systems, and tighter regulation. Change was uneven, and the fully sewered city belonged mostly to a much later age. Even early modern and industrial cities could become catastrophically filthy as populations exploded. History did not move from medieval muck to modern sparkle in one clean step. So, why did medieval cities smell so bad? Not because everyone was uniquely dirty or ignorant. Cities concentrated the unavoidable byproducts of life: food, fuel, animals, crafts, and human bodies, faster than their infrastructure could remove them. Back at that front door, the pig is still blocking traffic, the gutter remains suspicious, and the upstairs window has opened again. But now you notice the cleaner with a shovel, the fine posted at the market, the covered well, and the neighbor yelling because somebody broke the rules. The medieval city was not a place that never tried to be clean. It was a place discovering one terrible smell at a time, how difficult cleanliness becomes when everybody lives together.